Here's the area we tarped off last fall. You can see this dirt spot in the front here is where it has been tilled, but nothing was planted. And in the grassy spot behind it, that's just where we've let it go and nothing has happened there. So what we've got going on in here is our sweet corn, and this is peaches and cream. We've got a pretty solid block going. All the stalks are helping to hold each other up, even through our strong winds. There's about 50 to 60 stalks, so we should get about 100 ears of corn. Here's our chicken run area, and it has flags and chicken fence all the way around. The hoop coop is in the back. We do plan on moving them over into the barn, but we still have to get that coop area ready. Walk over and take a peek at the chickens. They really love playing and hiding under this new playground of pallets that my husband has built. He screwed all those together so it gives them a spot to hide in the shade. That bench over there is where we sit and hang out with them and sometimes record sunsets. You can see our potato patch is actually inside the chicken run. We planted that before we got the chickens, so we did put a little barrier fence around it to make sure that they didn't eat our potatoes. You can see they're already starting to flower, which means that the potatoes are already starting to grow underground. So we're pretty happy. That's our first potato patch. We got the idea of the flags going around the chicken run from Cog Hill Farm. They like to use prayer flags. We just use some cheap Amazon flags. You can see that the fence line on the outside barrier is shorter than that fence line around the potatoes. We're going to swap those out after we harvest the potatoes just to give them a little bit taller fence. This is a mulch pile that I've been moving in around the potato bed. I actually finished that yesterday after I took this footage. The chickens do enjoy scratching around in there. They look for bugs and worms and whatnot. And they always come running when they see me. They're very friendly chickens. We have 11 chickens. We did have 12, but unfortunately one of them did pass away pretty early on, about 2.5 weeks old. We have buried her, and I'll show you that grave in a little bit. But the other 11 chickens are all doing fine. You can see they're coming. Here comes the other half running over here to see us. All 11 chickens are hens. They're all going to be egg layers. They're Buff Orpingtons, Plymouth Rocks, and we do have one Easter egger. Next, I like to check the barrier. We have some blueberries, currants, blackberries, raspberries, and strawberries in there. Off to the right, you can see our little patch of woods. This is where we record the critter videos. You'll see possums, skunks, weasels, all kinds of critters. Bunnies, birds. They like to hang out under that wood pile over there. Let's head on in and check the berries. The first row here has currants and blueberries. These first two are the white currants. They are not yet producing this year, but we just planted them a couple months ago. Next to those are the white currants, And you can see I've put a little bit of fencing over them to keep the birds off because the white currants are producing. You can see a few cascades right there. The other white currant bush just has one lonely currant on it, just one berry right there. Next to the currants are the blueberries. We have two different varieties. You need to have more than one variety so that they can cross-pollinate and fruit. Each of our blueberry bushes has 3 or 4 blueberries kind of scattered here and there. Not a whole lot for a harvest, but maybe enough to try. Again, we just planted those a couple months ago. Next up is the blackberries. And you can see our mulch situation here. We have mixed mulch. There's light mulch, there's dark mulch, there's grassy spots that are not mulched. There's some wooden mulch up the middle path there. We have not gotten our truckload of mulch from the city, so we've just kind of been mixing and matching materials that we have to cover up the grass and kill it out. So here's our blackberries. They're growing pretty well. They're just now starting to turn colors. You can see a couple of them in there look a little pinkish purplish. There's a few red ones in the back there. You want to wait for the blackberries to turn a really dark color before you harvest them. So we still got a little wait to go. Now you can see the tops are still coming out of the netting there. I've had a problem with this. I got some taller stakes. They're about twice as tall as those cupped ones that I've been using. And I do plan on putting some more netting over the top of that, just to give them some more space to fruit in for next time. You can see a few of them are poking out of the netting. The birds will probably get those. But most of them are protected behind or under the netting there. So we should get a good harvest. There's another one that's turning colors. I don't know if you can tell the size on these, but these blackberries look absolutely huge. The empty cranberry bed, there was a late frost that killed the cranberries at the nursery, so we never did get those. Next up is the raspberry bed, and you can see it's also fruiting very well. Again, there's some mixed mulch going on. We do need to add another layer where it's thin, and we still need to cover up that little bit of grassy spot on the end there. Once we get everything mulched over initially, we're going to put another fresh layer of mulch on top of all of it so that it matches. So again, here you can see the raspberries, and these bushes are just packed plumb full of berries. And there's some more raspberries on the other side. You see those 2 red ripe ones in there? I actually picked those and share them with my husband later on in this video as a surprise, so stay tuned for that. It's just absolutely gorgeous out here in the country. There's some more mixed mulch. That was a little leftover hay that we had. Again, look at how absolutely full these bushes are with berries. They're just packed plumb full. We planted these last year as bare roots. They said they would take a year or 2 to fruit. So obviously we're on the 1-year side of that, and we're pretty pleased about that. You can see some of them are starting to turn pink in there. I'm definitely hoping for a good raspberry harvest. We initially planted 8 raspberry plants. You can see 4 in each row there. They're kind of turning into hedges now, which is what we had hoped for. In the middle here is our strawberry bed. The birds have had free range at this, so any strawberries that have come up, they have enjoyed eating. I did net that over yesterday, so hopefully we'll get some strawberries for ourselves. Here's some more of the blackberries, the second row. We also have 8 blackberry bushes, 4 in each row. And again, they're filling in between pretty well. So we hope to just basically have some hedges full of blackberries and raspberries next year. They're doing really well for their first year though. And you can see again, some of them are starting to turn color. They're not quite ripe yet. Next, we'll go over and check the flower garden area and the peach tree. As far as I can understand from what I've been told, this is the first year that this peach tree is producing fruit. Some of the branches are still kind of skinny and weak, so I have had to thin out quite a few of the peaches. We had upwards of 20 peaches per branch, and the weight from those peaches was putting so much pressure on the branch that it would have broken the branch or the branches if I hadn't have thinned the peaches. So now each of those branches has maybe 4 or 5 peaches instead of 20. And you can see they're a decent size. They are still green and firm, so they're not ready to pick yet. Once these peaches ripen up, we will do a peach harvest video. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. Now this next plant here, I need your guys' help with. I have no idea what it is. It's a flower that grows in the flower bed here. It has little yellow flowers up the stalks. And if you happen to know the name of this plant, please comment down below so that we can all learn something new. Thank you so much. Next we have the hydrangeas. And our hydrangea actually has 3 different colors this year. You can see the bright neon pink flower there, and around it are a few purpler flowers, not quite as vibrant the pink as that one. And then below the purple flowers is one with a lot more blue in it. So in this one bush this year we have pink, purple, and blue all being represented in the hydrangea. We do have one other hydrangea that flowers white, but it has not yet blossomed. That's our lily patch. This pergola we did have to fix last year. The top part there was broken and falling down. We chopped the vines off up at the top there, hoping that they would come back, and it looks like they are for the most part. This one in the back here you can see is very luscious. It's growing so tall that it's actually made it up to the top of the pergola. So hopefully this will be covered in those trumpet vines again like they were last year. This one on the front corner looks like it died, but upon closer inspection you can see some new sprouts coming out of it. So I'm hopeful that it will come back to life in the near future. On the other back corner, it looks a little thin and sparse. That's a different vine. That's not a trumpet vine, that's a clematis. And we do have a larger version of the clematis growing up a trellis on the front of our house. So you can see it's almost done flowering. There's a couple of flowers left there. But the neat thing about clematis is after the flowers drop, it leaves behind these silky soft little hair bundles, which are actually kind of cool. They're very soft. Okay, moving on, you can see our yuccas have taken a little wind damage. They're kind of bent this way and that way, but they're doing okay still. Just below that is the old carrot bed, and where the snap peas were, there's the old lettuce bed. All of that has been harvested, and down there's the kale bed. We donated that to the critters. On the back side we have our old asparagus patch, which is now ferning, and behind it is a wisteria vine. We have videos on both of those too, so check them out. In front here is the grapevine, and I have been trying to research and learn a little bit more about grapes. Last year we got maybe a handful of grapes because we neglected the vine. So this year I have been cutting back, I've been removing leaves, I've been checking the grape bundles every couple of days to make sure that they're getting fresh airflow and shade. So as you can see, those grape bundles are doing much better this year. We're hoping to actually get enough to try and possibly make into some jam or jelly. We'll have to keep you posted on that with a harvest video when they finish ripening.
got the string and 2-cycle fuel. I said 2-cycle fuel earlier. That's what this is. You mix this with 1 gallon of gasoline, and it is a 40 to 1, 50 to 1. It says suitable 40 to 1 to 50 to 1. Oh, hello. And I am just going to check my string and my weed eater head, and that is different on all weed eaters, but pretty simple to open up, and it is completely empty, so we're going to do that. Just about, I don't know how much. I know that's about how much mine holds. You're going to have to just figure out how much yours holds. Center. That way, when I put it in here, they're roughly the same. That's why I counted 1, 2, 3, 4 earlier, because that way I know 1, 2, and I'm real close. And then all over there. And I probably got too much string, but I'm not going to cut it off because I don't like wasting it. And I like the braided string because I feel like it lasts longer. Just cut a little bit so that they're the same-ish length. So then, 1 string in 1 hole. And you want this center to line up with your, and of course, like I said, all of them are different, so yours might not be like this. And you want your strings to stay in the channels that they're in. See how that one just punched up? So we'll see if that works when I go to pull it out. So we don't want it to get underneath of there. See there? And yeah, it looks like it worked. So then that goes in there. And that tab right there. And you don't want to catch the strings. So there we go. Alright, I'm gonna check the fuel and leave that too. Choke on, pump the ball, so you hear the air go out, and then 3 or 4 more times. Hold your little thing down or it won't start. Most of them have those things on nowadays. Pull it till it fires. There. Take the choke all the way off. Oh, I didn't have it on. Never gonna start. not giving any, are you? Make sure everybody gets some. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody gets some. But that one don't ever get some because she don't like the drama. Oh, you get some little rock. Bully and Tiny over there. Hold up a minute. You stay. Okay. Last little bit, ready? Pick some over there. Throw a rock. Alright. Y'all silly yet.
They're so cute.
Alright, big girls. That's it. We got most of it in. So.